So we go b minus 6, b plus 5. Does that make sense to everybody? And how do you check it? If you FOILed it out, you would get the original. Okay? All right, C. Actually, let's do C. What multiplies to 48 and adds to negative 4? What are the factors of 48? What multiplies 48? Well, 1 and 48. That doesn't work. What about 2? 2 times 24. Does 3 multiply to it? 16 and 3. What about 4? 4 and what? Would 5? Nope. 6. 6 and 8. Is there anything else? I think we got most of them. Do any of those combine to add to negative 4? They don't. If you made them negative or positive, they don't. So in this case, it's not possible. Okay? Not all factoring is possible. Well, I shouldn't say that. For right now, it's not possible. We're going to learn in a couple days, probably tomorrow. There is a way to do this, but you have to use a formula. Okay? So it's not possible to factor this the way we know. All right? What about D? This looks a little different. It's got cubes and x's and a number in front here. If that's the case, the first thing you always look to do, and it's on your sheet that I just gave you at the very top, we'll talk about this in a sec, take out a common factor. That's your first step every time you're factoring. So is there a common factor in here between 3, 21, 36? 3 and an x. So I can take out a 3x. What's left inside? Was the first term you divide by 3x, so you get x squared. What's 21 divided by 3? 7, so it's minus 7, and I took one of those x's out, so there's just one x there. 36 divided by 3 is 12, and the x is gone. Then look at what's inside the brackets. It's a trinomial. What would multiply to 12 and add to negative 7? Negative 3 and negative 4. Okay. So then you can factor. All right. You turn the page. Okay, this thing that I just handed out is basically this. Okay? So I just gave you this, okay? So this tells you the order to do things in. Starting at the top. Step 1, always look for a common factor. Okay, that is the first step. It'll make your life easier because it'll shrink all the numbers to smaller values. And then you ask yourself, do you have 2 terms? Okay, if you have 2 terms, is it a difference of squares? So a difference of squares would look like x squared minus 4. Okay, 2 terms separated by a subtraction sign. Then it's a difference of squares, and it would just become x minus 2, x plus 2. Okay? Do you have 3 terms? Okay? So this is the stuff we just did. This would be like x squared plus 7x plus 10. what's the factored form of this? Well, multiplies the 10 and adds 7. 5 and 2, so it becomes x plus 5, x plus 2. This is if a is equal to 1, i.e. the number in front of the x squared is a 1. Okay. When a is not equal to 1, we use decomp. We're going to learn that tomorrow. Okay. And if there's 4 terms, we'll try grouping. Again, we'll learn that tomorrow as well. So these ones be tomorrow. But you can use this sheet that I gave you on any quiz or test. Okay. So it basically tells you what to do for factoring. Because all I want you to be able to do is factor. Okay. You just need to be able to factor. All right. So let's use that sheet and solve these two and finish off this lesson. So what is the first step every single time? What is at the top of that sheet? Common factor. Is there a common factor between 36 and 9? It's 9, right? So I pull out the 9, and I'm left with what on the inside? 4 minus x squared. Okay. Now, how many terms do I have? 2. What does the sheet say? Is this a difference of squares? Yes, because this is a subtraction sign. Can I square root the 4? Can I square root the x squared? So what's my answer? And write your terms in the order that they have in the original. So since we have the number first, the number goes first in each bracket. We have the variable second. It's been flipped from what we've normally seen, but write it in that order, okay? So this, you cannot go any further. There's no common factors to pull out. You're done. All right, 28 plus 3x minus x squared. So there's a trick to this one. When you have a trinomial, we don't like having this negative x squared. It kind of messes things up for people. Okay, if you can do it without that, fine, do it. But this is the one exception. I'm gonna want you to rewrite this. You can rewrite them any way you want. The signs always go with the term that's behind it. So the negative is with the x squared. 3x stays in the middle, and we have plus 28. That's the exact same equation, just rewritten. Okay? Now, I want to get rid of this negative. So I can factor a -1 out. If you factor a negative